Hey.
Hey.
Some sort of law.
Hello everyone, Adam here, and today I'll be discussing Deacon St. John from the popular video game Days Gone from developer Bend Studio. A survivor living in a world where a global infection called the Freaker virus has infected most mammals and birds, leading to the collapse of modern civilization. In short, Deacon St. John is a former soldier and member of the Mongol MC motorcycle gang. Following the Freaker outbreak, Deacon was one of the rare individuals who survived the initial outbreak with his best friend Boozer after putting his wife Sarah Whitaker on a helicopter destined for a refugees camp after being fatally stabbed by a newt. Deacon was born and raised in Farewell, Oregon, but his childhood is rarely talked about throughout the game. Deacon only speaks one time about his father and how he taught him to drown a rat nest inside their house, but rarely speaks about his family. However, he also never expresses hate towards any of his parents, but doesn't mention any extensive cousins or possible siblings. Deacon enlisted in the US Army when he was young and served a full tour in Afghanistan, serving as part of the 10th Mountain Division. Deacon would eventually suffer from a phobia for swimming after his squad was ambushed by Taliban, causing their Humvee to fall into a river. Deacon attempted to save his allies after being knocked out and was only able to pull their bodies to shore. After being discharged from the service, Deacon traveled to the United States, eventually returning to Oregon and found employment as a mechanic with a man named Jack, who happened to be the president of the Mongol MC. Deacon would join the Mongol MC and see them as his new family, also becoming close friends with one of the members, William Gray, better known as Boozer. Eventually, Deacon would meet his future wife, Sarah Whitaker, a botanist who worked for the company Clover Blue Corporation. The two would marry, but against the wishes of both the MC and Sarah's family, with Boozer being the only one who attends the wedding. It's not until the events of Days Gone that the two are separated when Deacon chooses to remain by Boozer's side after his friend suffered an injury preventing him from walking correctly. Deacon would convince Sarah to leave for the refugee camp to seek medical help for her fatal stab wound, knowing that Boozer wouldn't be able to survive without his help, and promising to find her later. After learning of Sarah's supposed death, Deacon becomes broken. Having lost everything, Deacon has an extreme rage towards freakers, bandits, and even the freaker cult called the Rippers. With the exception of Boozer, Deacon does not trust anyone and chooses to work alone, taking on bounty jobs from various camps in exchange for supplies and camp credit, even going as far as to collect survivors for work camps in exchange for supplies. This doesn't mean that Deacon is heartless. In fact, he still has a code. It's shown that he has a soft spot for women, going out his way not to shoot unarmed women and attempting to save a woman from being sacrificed by the Rippers to the Freakers. This is not to say that Deacon was always a moral person even before the outbreak. In fact, Deacon was seen as being a violent individual, such as when he burned the tattoos off Jesse, a former Mongol member. He was one of several individuals who held the poor guy down as they took a blowtorch to his back. It's also been shown that Deacon has trouble with authority as he always challenges anyone who is above him, such as when he starts to antagonize an armed guard at Sarah's former workplace. In a way, Deacon also understands that a blissful death is a rare luxury in this world. During some very unsettling moments, Deacon will actively euthanize people who are guaranteed to die in painful ways, trying to end their life in the most humane way possible. For example, a junkie named Taylor, employed by the militia, kills a doctor to fuel his addiction, doesn't want to be hanged and humiliated. Begging Deacon to help him, Deacon acknowledges that there's only one way out of it. Knowing he's gonna die regardless, gives him an overdose of morphine before the militia can find him. In another instance, having saved a woman from Ripper's plan to sacrifice her to the Freakers, finds out that her legs have been broken completely, with exposed bone. Schizo, who is with Deacon, tells him to do the right thing and he strangles her, sparing her from the Freakers. Throughout the game, it's clear that Deacon is trapped in the past, such as saving a little girl named Lisa and going out of his way to get a gift for her because she reminded him of Sarah's little sister, who, judging from Deacon's opinion of her, likely approved of Sarah's relationship with him, unlike her parents. He also carries a photo of Sarah, constantly visits the church they were married in, and has made a makeshift grave in a Nero camp where she was supposedly taken to, despite never finding her body. Much of the game has Deacon trying to find hope that Sarah may have survived the encounter in the refugee camp, even drawing conclusions when there are none. Deacon is somewhat suicidal to an extent throughout most of the game, with his only reason for living being Boozer. Deacon states multiple times that if he died, Deacon would have no reason to live, with Boozer attempting suicide twice, once when his wife died and attempted to drink himself to death, and a second time after losing his arm and heading towards a Freako horde. Both times, Deacon was willing to die alongside Boozer because he knows without him he has no reason to wake up in the morning. As the game progresses, Deacon starts to develop new bonds with other people he didn't really care for much, such as Lost Lake, to which he starts seeing them as his extensive family, and even gaining new hope that there may be a future for him other than survival. Deacon is a very effective soldier, tracker, and strategist. Throughout the game, Deacon is able to take down dozens of trained soldiers, evolved freakers, and even an entire horde by himself. Despite never wanting it, Deacon is an effective leader, as he does command respect and was able to craft an extensive plan of how to defeat the militia. He's also effectively trained in both light and heavy firearms and hand-to-hand combat, but it's also shown that Boozer is still a better fighter than him.
Seriously, what happened to Sarah? Huh? Where's your old lady?
Where's your old lady?
Huh? Stay down, brother.
Military time, Corporal.
Deacon has incredible tracking skills, and they're unparalleled by anyone within the game. He's able to track freakers, animals, and humans with little clues, making him an effective bounty hunter. This, coupled with his skills as a motorcyclist, stealth, and mechanic, makes him an extreme threat to deal with. To an extent, Deacon is an effective medic. Thanks to training from his wife, Deacon has learned how to effectively craft natural medicines and deadly poisons from plants, such as when he prolonged Boozer's life thanks to a lavender salve that his wife taught him to create, and knowing that the chemical engineer Matt Weaver was making napalm simply by telling him the ingredients he was using. So there's my analysis on Deacon St. John from Days Gone. I felt like the character was misinterpreted by many to be a heroic character instead of a survivor, choosing to do whatever it takes to not only survive but to help those he cares about most, as they are the only reason Deacon continues to push forward. In addition, with the exception of the ending, most of the game is about just surviving the Freako horde, trying to find a reason to push forward. I did feel like the ending with Colonel Garrett did turn Deacon to more of a heroic figure as he tried to stop this type of holy war, but for the most part it's about survivors just trying to survive in this horrible world. If you want to learn more about the Freaker virus, I'll leave links to where you can watch those videos, including where you can purchase Days Gone, as well as links to my walkthrough and review. So that's everything, everyone. Till next time, have a good one.
Hey, listen, we can ride out of here. We'll pick a direction. We won't look back. Come on.
No, Deacon. I can't.
Are they forcing you to stay here?
No, you don't understand. We're fighting a war. Don't you see? This is a war that we can win.
I ain't coming here to fight a war.
I can be helpful. I can make a difference, but I can't go with you. I have to stay here. Don't you get it? You can stay here with me. Help me. Look, afterwards, whatever you say, we can go wherever you want.
Colonel's looking for you.
Whatever you say, man.
Wait a second. Your requisition form. Thank you, soldier.